Hello there, people. My name is Sho, and welcome to an episode of Game Things. My apology for the missing episode last week, as our editor had some issues with his PC right after he got his graphics card replaced. I'll do my best to make up for last week's episode as well, so let's get down to the game news this week. We already know that Payday 3 is coming this September, and if you have played the previous title Payday 2, you would have known that an offline mode is available for that game. However, things are changing in Payday 3, according to this article from Eurogamer, citing the quote from the global brand director of Starbreeze Studios, aka the developer of the game, states, and I quote, "You'll be able to play it by yourself, but I do believe you will have to have a connection in order to play because it is made in the Unreal Engine. It is using cross progression and cross play. I do believe we need you to be online." And I end quote. So, do I care about the offline mode for Payday 3? I have not played enough Payday 2 to comment on that, but if I were to play Payday 3, chances are it will be with friends or other players anyways, as I find it difficult to enjoy a game like this alone, and that is my sole opinion. On the flip side, I can also see that the more Payday 2 you have played previously, the more polarized your view can be on Payday 3, as I believe those people can see the joy of playing offline mode with custom mods. Nonetheless, having the offline mode removed in Payday 3 is definitely a big yikes, no question asked. And if this is a red flag to you, be sure to take note on this potential, if not pretty much confirmed source, considering this is from the company's employee. On top of that, being a game released in 2023, you can never leave out the microtransactions, in which Payday 3 will also have, featuring a gold and silver season pass, with the silver tier offering the first 6 months of DLCs, which includes 2 heists, 2 tailor packs, and 2 weapon packs. For the gold tier, players will receive the entire year's worth of DLC that are releasing in the first year, 4 heists, 4 tailor packs, and 4 weapon packs. Should you have played the previous Payday 2, I guess you can kind of guess what you might be getting here, and that is everything we have for Payday 3. And now let's move on to the Flash news. There is a new Black Panther game in the making. This time it is between a collaboration between Marvel and EA, currently in development by a newly opened studio called Cliffhanger Games. The direction of the game is going to be a third-person single-player experience set in Wakanda. Whether it is the Wakanda that the moviegoers know or a better version of it, I guess those who have watched the movie can let me know. I mean, I can't be the only one who have not watched the movie, right? Speaking of EA, FIFA and EA had a nearly 30 years long collaboration when it comes to video games, and the EA Sports FIFA era is coming to an end. And because the collaboration is no more, obviously, EA Sports can no longer use the name FIFA in their future titles, and hence we have the new and upcoming EA Sports FC 24, releasing by the end of September this year. Many things the players love from the previous EA Sports FIFA title will largely remain the same, and the removal on anything FIFA specific is for sure inevitable. Like maybe the World Cup tournament, I believe is one of them. Never really cared about football in real life, and I have only played a handful of the damn FIFA games. Anyways, coming back to the game, EA Sports FC 24 will be made available on the PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC as early as 22nd of September 2023 should you bought the Ultimate Edition of the game, which would grant you 7 days of early access. Next, previously known as Project Leonardo, we now know that the Access controller is the fruition from the 5 years long development from Sony PlayStation. With the introduction of this controller, PlayStation wants to be more inclusive by helping people with various physical abilities to enjoy video games on its console for a much more easily accessible and tuned to be more user-friendly controller. The Access controller comes with swappable button caps, and users can customize the way they want it to be. Pre-orders started on 21st of July with the price of $90 US. This definitely adds another meaningful insight towards PlayStation's tagline of "Play has no limits." And since we're on the topic of Sony, between Sony and Microsoft, They signed an agreement in order to keep Call of Duty, the franchise, available on the PlayStation platform for the coming 10 years. As you all might already know, Call of Duty is a franchise under Activision Blizzard, and Microsoft is in the midst of acquiring the company. If anything, I believe this is just a move to persuade the lawmakers and most likely the Federal Trade Commission (FTC) in the US to approve or at least soften the stance of the authority in order to make this acquisition go through. So, at least for the next 10 years to come, you won't have to sell a PlayStation and get an Xbox immediately just to be able to play COD. Continuing with the Sony topics, by now we all know that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is coming to PC in just a couple of days on July 26. One big takeaway here is that, unsurprisingly, modern games are starting to recommend SSD storage in their PC system requirement spec sheet. It will still be fine running on the traditional hard drive, that is, only if you're satisfied with a 720p 30 frames per second experience, at least according to this PC system requirements shown here. However, the truth is, I highly doubt you will not be able to run the game on a hard drive, and while you might face some lower frames and performance issue, there is the implementation of Microsoft's Direct Storage 1.2, in which the developer Nixus claims that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, the PC port, is the first game to implement such technology. And what Direct Storage does is to enable much responsive texture streaming even at a higher graphics settings, which will technically uplift the game running performance and further enhance the user experience. Direct Storage 1.2 will also be benefiting the hard drive users, meaning if implemented well, you might even see Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart running better than some other modern games that are out there in recent years that has no Direct Storage 1.2 implementation, even on a hard drive. If you're running the game on an SSD, you already know that you're running the game at its best possible configuration to experience the seamless transition between gameplay and cutscenes, and say goodbye to the long loading screens that I believe most of us should have at least experienced once in our lifetime. Moving on, here we have a 7 minutes long gameplay presentation from the game Atlas Fallen by the developer Deck 13. The closest game comparison to Atlas Fallen released by the same developer previously would be the franchise called The Search. Both are adventure action RPGs, with the developer striving for a much agile movements, faster paced action and combat, as well as making everything as grandeur and visually appealing, if not more than the previous game that they made. Not only that, when it comes to combat, weak points is a thing, so that will also help bringing us the players having a much more satisfying tactical approach when it comes to combat, and not just spam O or I guess B all the way. You can have a choice of main and secondary weapons and your gauntlet upgrades, which includes your skill upgrades and the essence stones, which can also be further enhanced and will ultimately shape how you approach your combat. All in all, I'm interested in the game and I think you should too. Atlas Fallen is coming to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC all on August 10th this year. Then we have a piece of news on Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass. The previously known Xbox Live Gold will be replaced by Xbox Game Pass Core coming on September 14, 2023. The new Xbox Game Pass Core will cost you 10 USD per month or 60 USD for the yearly subscription. If you follow our weekly news, you know that Xbox Live Gold is the subscription that offers free games monthly. Chances are you have this because you bought the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, because it just makes more sense, in my opinion. Coming back to the new and upcoming Game Pass Core, subscribers will have the access to the multiplayer network, a select collection of 25 games, which some of the 19 games have been confirmed as listed here. Subscribers can expect new titles to be added into the Game Pass Core catalog of games 2 or 3 times every year. Nothing changes if you're concurrent Xbox Live Gold subscribers. Your subscription will be converted automatically to Core on the commencement date. However, the Xbox One games that were claimed via Xbox Live Gold will still require an active subscription to have access to them. As for the Xbox 360 free games that you have claimed through Xbox Live Gold previously, you get to keep them and have access to those games regardless of your subscription status. And now I'd like to run through a couple of smaller topics here. Had you played the previous titles from Assassin's Creed like Valhalla or Odyssey, you would know that the DLCs and post-launch contents are a thing. However, as far as the upcoming Assassin's Creed Mirage goes, according to the Reddit AMA session with creative director Stephen Bowden, there are no concrete plans for DLCs or any extensive post-launch content for Mirage, at least at this moment. And to those who loves bullet hell roguelike genre, Let Them Come Onslaught might be something that you want to be looking out for. This is a sci-fi survivor shooter as well, set to release on PC via Steam, with the early access made available in the first quarter of 2024, and the game will cost you $5 US. Immediately when it comes to bullet hell, I just want to add on here, I can help but think of Potato, which honestly is also really cheap on Steam. You can check out that as well if it is the kind of game you love. The game is also $5 on the Apple App Store, or if you so choose to not to pay for the game at all, Potato is actually free on the Google Play Store. Last on the list, the release date of the upcoming game Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, has been delayed by a week to August 10 this year. The developers Summerfall themselves are trying to, in my own words, not to get the game overshadowed by the full release of the much anticipated Baldur's Gate 3, a story-rich Choice Matters RPG, which is coming out of its years long of early access on August 3rd on PC. Honestly, I'm personally more interested in Stray Gods the role-playing musical, in which we the players will be playing as Grace, living in a world where Greek gods are hiding among us, where gods, romance, and murder all happen in the same place. Grace will use the power of musical persuasion to solve the mystery of the last muse's death. And the artwork for this game looks awesome, so definitely put this on your wishlist. Coming to the game releases for this week, pick out Viewfinder, a go-to for platform puzzle lovers, which is released on the PlayStation 5 and PC on July 18th. Pikmin 4 is also released this Friday on July 21st for the Nintendo Switch, and if you wanted to give the Pikmin franchise a try, there is no better time than now. I'm actually thinking of getting this game myself just to give it my first shot, and hopefully by then I'll be able to deliver a non-spoiler insight on what the game and all the excitement around Pikmin is all about. As for the free games for this week, on the Epic Games Store, Murder by Numbers is a pixel puzzle game where you as the players solve puzzles to find clues and use those clues to interrogate witnesses and work your way to solve the mystery of Murder by Numbers. Hard to recommend to those who have a hard time solving puzzles, but if you're willing to go through that, then definitely give this a try. Besides that, The Elder Scrolls Online is also made free this week, so definitely grab this opportunity, add those games into a library regardless if you're playing it immediately or down the road. Both are available to claim for free until July 27th. With that, marks the end of this week's episode of Game Things. Consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribe and click on the bell so that you'll be notified on our weekly video upload here on YouTube.